So what is SB9? Approximately when did it go into effect? And how does that help?
SB9 was signed into law in September of 2021 and went into effect January 1st of 2022. It allows two things. It allows lot splits and duplex conversions.
And can you do more than one lot split?
If you own two parcels next to each other, you can only pick one of those parcels to take advantage of SB9 for the lot split. If you have extra yard space that you're not using, split it and get rid of it.
Hi, everybody. Jose Luis Morales here. Welcome back to the Residual Real Estate Agent Show. This is episode number 111. Today, we've got Chris Walsh. He is a real estate agent with Wire Associates. He is based out of, did you say Orange County?
Orange County, lovely Newport Beach.
Good. And today he's going to be talking to us about SB9 lot splits and combining these lot splits with ADUs. It's a question that I've been getting a lot recently, and Christian understands them very well. Welcome to the show, Christian. How are you?
Awesome, Jose Luis. Thanks for having me, and congrats on number 111. That's a lot of shows. Nice work, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've actually done them over the last 4 or 5 years, and I started getting more serious about it like last year because I hired somebody to kind of help me manage it. And to be honest, I love this because I get to spend time with people that really understand specific subjects, and I get to consult with them for 45 minutes to an hour for free.
It makes so much sense. And it's the power of podcasts and YouTube where you can have somebody who's, I mean, we're in each other's backyard, but you can be collaborating with somebody across the nation, learning about different topics. That's what I love about it. And kudos to you, because a lot of agents say, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do video. I'm going to do podcasts. And they never do it. And I'll pat myself on the back a little bit too.
So for the viewers that don't know who you are, who is Christian Walsh and how did you get involved in the real estate industry?
Sure. So I actually was born in small town Ohio. And just because I'm starting here, I'm not giving my whole life story, but this is relevant to the story. So my dad was a custom home builder back in Ohio. 20 plus years ago, I took a family trip to California and I said, what the heck am I doing in Ohio? No offense. I know somebody from Ohio is watching. No offense. So moved out to California, took everything I learned growing up in a construction family and working on job sites, installing flooring. I don't do that anymore, so don't ask. So all those skills and that I grew up with, and my dad now is actually a real estate trainer, so he helps agents sell new homes and has sales training. So I've learned so much over the years. So 15 years ago, during the middle of the global financial crisis, I said, now's the perfect time to get into real estate. So it's been a road. It's been quite a road, but I can tell you that having a construction background makes a huge difference for me. And then ultimately being able to provide service to my clients so they can better understand. Now, of course, I'm not a general contractor. We still bring in an amazing inspector. Can't give legal advice, for example, but just understanding the pieces and parts. And when SB9, so backing up, when ADUs were originally proposed in California, I got excited about that. Been doing a ton of research on that, but I actually got even more excited about SB9. And so I've released on my YouTube channel, I've released about 5 videos, and there's more content to come. In fact, I think this Wednesday will be another one. But it is an exciting topic, but it's got some hair on it. It's not an easy thing, as you found out, Jose Luis. You know.
Yeah, so it's funny because I was talking to my architect who's helping me with the ADUs, and he told me, hey, one of the things that you might want to look into is you might want to look into properties with slightly bigger lots. And I asked him why, and he said that there's this law now that you can actually split the lot and you can do ADUs potentially on the 2 lots individually. So he said the way he expressed it to me, because I gave him a property to run a sample by, and he said, look, instead of just having a house and 2 ADUs, you can do a lot split, and potentially instead of 3 units, you can have potentially 6 units. And as soon as he said that, my ears went kind of ringing. I didn't understand it fully, so I wanted to bring you on and kind of have it explain it to us. So, what is SB9? Approximately when did it go into effect? And how does that help in this affordable, not in the affordable, in just the shortage of inventory for both rentals, yeah, housing?
Yeah, California has a serious housing shortage. So SB9 was signed into law in September of 2021 and went into effect January 1st of 2022. And it allows two things. It allows lot splits and duplex conversions. Okay. Now ADUs can factor into this. And to what that architect said about 6 units, technically it would be up to the local municipality to allow 6, but under the current legislation, you can build 4. Okay, so it could be a house and another house. It could be a house and an ADU. Where you could get 6 is if the local municipality is going to allow you to build 2 houses and an ADU, or 1 house, an ADU, and a junior ADU. See, we're going deep already on this, but they don't have to. Under SB9, the law stipulates, and I can't give tax or legal advice, but it stipulates that you're allowed 2 units per lot. Now, this is only for single family zoning. So it can be R1. R1 is the most common single family zoning, but some areas call it something different. But 1 house per lot would be single family zoning. It does not work for multifamily zoning. That's one advantage ADUs have. ADUs you can build in single family, multifamily, and mixed use, but not SB9. And so under SB9, you can go ahead and you can split a lot in half. 40-60 ratio is the smallest you can go. And then you can add up to 2 units. You can have 2 units on each lot. So that would be a lot split and a duplex conversion used together. So I'll give you 4.
What does that mean, a 40-60 ratio?
Sure. So when you do the lot split, the law stipulates that the smallest the second lot can be would be 40%. So if you're going to split it, it would be basically in half, all the way down to a 40-60 ratio. And where that's helpful is if, for example, you have a house sitting in the middle of the lot, maybe you can cut off without having to tear down any of the house. You can go to a 40% ratio in the back, 60 in front. So it has to fit within that.
I didn't even think about where the house sits in regards to that, which is like really key. Is there a minimum lot size? Like, meaning I know that there's some smaller lots, there's some larger lots, and is there any benefits to having somewhat of a larger lot? And can you do more than one lot split? Meaning, like, can you divide a larger lot into 3 or 4 lots?
Great questions. So minimum lot size is 2,400 square feet. So you can split a 2,400 square foot lot into 2 1,200 square foot lots. That would be minimum. So technically it's actually 1,200 square feet is the minimum. So the for the split lot size. As far as larger lots do have the distinct advantage that you can fit more on the lot. So a 1,200 square foot lot would be ridiculously tiny to attempt to squeeze 2 units on and still have a yard and still have parking. There's special parking requirements as well. But and the parking requirements are in line with accessory dwelling units, where if you're close to public transit, you don't need to necessarily have a spot for that second unit. So a larger lot is going to have the advantage of being able to build bigger units on there. And in some cases, access will be a little bit easier for that second lot, because that's a big one, is access to the lot that you create. And then as far as creating 3 or 4 lots, the bill prevents you from using SB9 on a lot that's been created under SB9. And it also prevents you from doing it if you own 2 parcels next to each other, even if you haven't split them. If you own 2 parcels next to each other, you can only pick one of those parcels to take advantage of SB9 for the lot split.
Do you know what the purpose behind that is, or why they would make it like that?
Yeah, the rationale was to prevent investors from coming in and splitting up entire blocks of single family zones. That's the biggest misconceptions, is that all of a sudden all your single family neighborhoods are going to be filled with fourplexes everywhere. It's not true. It isn't economically feasible to do that, but that was what they included in the bill. They said, if you own two lots, you can't do that. And you can't partner. So it could be two separate people who partner up with an investor who have contiguous lots. They couldn't, because of that partner, though, they couldn't do that either. So it's to prevent investors from going wild with it.
When you say that the bigger lots, the access is important, what does the access mean?
Good question. So access means, so if you're going to do a back to front split, which is pretty common, a lot of folks are looking at doing a back to front split where you're splitting it and you've got a lot in front and then now the backyard is a separate lot. So you need to figure out access to that back parcel. And there's two ways to do it. The most common is a flag lot. And a flag lot is, it looks like a flag. You've got your lot and then a small access point for the driveway. So that's a flag lot. It looks like a flag. The other way to do it is an easement. So you can have an easement across that front lot, and the easement technically then would not change the square footage. So that's an important point, because if you do a, now I'm going deep. See what you did to me, Jose Luis. I get excited about this stuff. So if you do a lot split, that and you do the flag lot, that square footage on the flag on the pole for access would go to the back lot. So you may find that that isn't going to work. You're not going to have enough square footage to meet your ratios. So that's where the easement across the front lot would work. Now, if it's two side-by-side lots that you create, access is less difficult. You can put a driveway in to each of those.
And then once you do the lot split, is there any restrictions on selling them individually at that point?
Excellent question. So there is, if you do the lot split, not the duplex conversion, but the lot split, it has an owner occupancy requirement. So the owner of the lot is going to have to sign an affidavit that they plan to live there a minimum of 3 years. Now that means somewhere on the lot. So you could be in any one of the units there for 3 years as the owner occupant. So to take it to the extreme, what you could do is combine lot splits and duplex conversions. You could have 4 units, tear everything down or start with a vacant lot, have 4 units. But in order to do this, you're going to have to say as an owner occupant that you're going to live in one of the 4.
This is fairly new. So, I mean, it came out September of 2021. Any idea as to how long the permit process would take? I know for ADUs, they have like a timeline attached to it, and that's what excites a lot of people about doing ADUs. I know sometimes with different municipalities or different cities, that can vary substantially, and some are faster than others. Any rule of thumbs in that department? And have you seen any investors actually get this approved yet, or is it too new to basically have to be able to tell?
So I've talked to a lot of folks all over California. They've called in because of the content I've created. As of now, I don't know if anybody's been successful yet. It's been just over 90 days. There's several people who I know are close. And as far as the timeline, it's supposed to be similar to ADUs, where it's an objective process and it's non-ministerial, which means you don't have to go in front of the planning commission for getting an approval for the lot split and duplex conversion. So it's not a tough process. So theoretically, you should be able to get it done in maybe 3 to 6 months with the wind at your back. It will become streamlined, and they may have to release a second bill like they had to do for ADUs to make it more of a streamlined, quicker process and close the loopholes. Not everybody likes this. A lot of local municipalities, over 200 in last count, are not fans of this and are pushing back and creating you could say, draconian measures to prevent it from being used. So expect a round two on SB9 to close the loopholes.
Very similar to the ADU process, because when the ADU process came out, a lot of people got discouraged by it because some cities had really large fees and they made the process really long and lengthy. And then that version 2 came out where it eliminated a lot of that, where it made the ADU process a lot easier. So expect probably something similar for SB9. So I've got a question. Let's say that you own a single family residence on an R1 zoning. However, you've already converted that into an ADU, meaning you've got, let's say, you've got the main house, which you converted into the house junior ADU, and you've got a detached 3-car garage in the back that you're also converting into an ADU. Under those circumstances, is it possible to still do a lot split? Or are you not able to combine the ADU? Once you do the ADUs, you can't go in there and do the lot split at that point.
It's actually a common question because a lot of people have taken advantage of the ADU regulations and or in the process of planning it, and they suddenly hear about SB9 and they say, "Oh boy, maybe I should consider this." So really, what it's going to boil down to is where you have to split your lot. So there's two scenarios I can envision. Let's leave the junior ADU out. Let's say that you have a house and an ADU, so you have two. So if you have to do a lot split such that, or if you're able to do a lot split such that the house and ADU are on one lot and you have nothing on the other lot or a detached garage on the other lot, like you said, that should be fine. There should be no issues whatsoever with that because you're meeting the rule of the law. The front would be 2 units. So that's all you can do on the front unless the city allows you to do more. And then you've got the back and you can go to town and you can build your 2. Where it gets tough, and it'll be up to you working with the local planning commission, is if the lot split is between the main house and the ADU. You see what I'm saying there? So in that case, now you have a main house on the front lot and you have an ADU on the back lot. They may be fine with that, but the problem is your accessory dwelling unit with its own APN is no longer an accessory to a dwelling. So it's no longer an ADU. And technically, it would need to meet the standards for a freestanding unit before you could do the lot split. And one example, prime example, would be that utilities would have to be, they'd have to have their own connections for gas, electric, sewer, et cetera. And a lot of times to save on costs, when people put the ADU in, they tap into the main structure. So it's a great question. It's a fair question, and it's a common question. And it's so new, we haven't seen it tested much. So kind of what I've shared with you is just my non-legal opinion on it.
I love it. I love it because you're so far ahead of most people. The other question that I had for you as it relates to this is, if you have to live in one of the units for a minimum of 3 years, does that mean that you can't sell the other one that you did a lot split, even if you're going to live in one of the units, or can you sell?
Great question. You can sell everything else. And so if you created a lot split, you could sell that other lot, whether it's vacant or has a structure on it. And here, to take it all the way to the end of the spectrum, you could do the lot split, do the duplex conversion, have your 4 units, and condo map those 4. So now you have 4 condos. And Jose Luis and I are all excited as your agent because we're going to sell 3 of those condos, get you top dollar, and you can live in one of them.
And you can almost, like, in some cases, depending on what your building costs and what your selling costs, because you already own the land, the proceeds from that may be able to help you almost pay off even a mortgage, it sounds like. So you can actually sell the other units. You can even sell the duplex unit. Now, when you say you can do a duplex, are there any regulations on that? Like, what is a duplex? Does it have to be attached? Does it have to be detached? Any regulations that you're aware of?
Again, that's a good question to ask the planning department. It has to be a minimum of 800 square feet. That's the minimum size. So that's where it could get a bit difficult. If the planning department is going to be difficult, they could say you're only allowed to build 800 feet, and then you're stuck with 2 800 square foot units on that lot. But I think the the intent of the law is to let you build whatever you want that meets normal requirements for a duplex within that area. So they could be attached, it could be detached, it could be an ADU that's attached to the structure, ADU that's detached. So your two units that you build, one house, one ADU, or two standalone units, you theoretically should be able to build them in any combination you want of attached or detached.
And once you do the lot split, I think this is what you said, and I just want to clarify, is that you can sell even the land separately. So like let's say I buy a single family home in Oxnard, let's say the price is 650,000. I do a lot split on it. Let's say it's a 7,000 square foot lot. I keep my lot at 3,000 square feet and the other one at 4,000 square feet. I could sell the back portion of that as long as I provide access to the back, and then somebody else can go in there and build a duplex on there. And basically I just bought something for 650. Let's say I sell it for 200. Now I've technically, my house really only cost me 450 instead of 650.
That's it. That's 100% right. And that's the low-hanging fruit on this one. If you have extra yard space that you're not using, split it and get rid of it. That's I think that's a great use of it. Now, a few things, a few caveats, and then we won't go into it because it's a deep dive. But if you have financing against the house, if you do a lot split, you're technically changing the collateral and you're going to trigger the acceleration clause on your loan. So you're going to have to be careful in doing a well-timed refi. But so we won't go too deep into that. That's where your viewers can reach out to you and me and have a deeper conversation. But it can be done, and I think it's a spectacular idea to monetize that extra land.
And then this is the last question that I had, and I think you might have already answered it. If it's like, let's say, an acre of land, that I can't do multiple 1,200 square foot lots. It's only one lot split that I can do on a 60/40 or in a similar ratio to that.
Yeah, so that's correct. It can really only be done once per parcel, but with the caveat that look at your local zoning regulations to see you may be able to do a traditional lot split with what's there if the current zoning allows that, separate from SB9. So do that research first to see, and then from there so let's say your acre you can split into two half-acre parcels just by current legislation. Then do that and do SB9 with one of those. So that would be an example where you can go from 1 to 3. I mean, it's crazy, and I'm going deep again, but let's say that acre can be split without SB9 into 6 or 8. You could strategically, as long as the parcels don't touch, theoretically could do SB9 at like two different corners. So I know I'm going deep, but that's why you have to look at each lot, and that's why you reach out to a professional like you or a professional like me who understands this, and you talk about your options and run through some various scenarios to see, hey, this is what we can do. Then we take it to the professionals. We take it to the civil engineer. We go into planning. We talk to planning. But the other side of that is going into planning, like your viewers need somebody like you and me to know how to ask the right questions and overcome. Because if you ask the right question in the wrong way, it'll be a no. But maybe there's another way to ask the question, or maybe there's a workaround that we can come up with.
Anything else that you think that the viewers should know about SB9?
Be patient on it because there's still some areas are ahead of others on it. Like, for example, Los Angeles has already released a bunch of material. They've kind of jumped in front of it. Check with the planning department. Find somebody at the planning department who likes SB9. There may be a couple there that do, and see if you can get in front of that person. And don't give up. If you hit some roadblocks, reach out to you and me, and we'll see if we can figure out a workaround for it.
And then if our viewers wanted to get in contact with you, like let's say somebody was buying in Orange County or just wanted to learn more about SB9, what would be the best way to do that?
Yeah, I will. I'll have a link I'll send you that you can put in the description. Definitely check out my channel, and then I have a contact us page. My number is 949-677-3466. It's my personal cell. Feel free to give it a ring, and we can talk more about it.
For our viewers out there, Chris has a great YouTube channel. I would encourage you guys to check it out. He's got a lot of information on SB9, ADUs, landlord, tenant items, and buyers and sellers. Well, I want to say thank you for coming on the show. This is a topic that I definitely wanted to cover. This for our viewers out there, this was episode number 111. If you've enjoyed this show, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you feel that this episode will be helpful to a friend, family, or a neighbor, make sure to hit that share button. I wanted to say thank you for taking the time to be on, and I enjoyed our time together. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge about SB9.
Thank you, Jose Luis. And I appreciate you continuing to create content like this and diving in. Your clients are lucky to have a guy like you who's out there hustling and learning at the same time.
Yeah, likewise. And I look forward to potentially doing some more collaborations in the future because I love this, man. This is honestly, it is great, you know?
Me too. Me too. We nerd out together. I like it.